Hey, Wargamers. Okay, so today I just had some free time. Figured I would do some painting for as long as that free time lasts. We'll see where we go. But basically, I don't know where I should put that water to not mess with the focus. But yeah, I want to kind of share some of the stuff that I've been working on in the past on some of these live streams, and then talk about some stuff that's going to be coming up, namely the Sisters of Battle box and the new Imperial Fist Codex, because I have a box full of Imperial Fists that need to get painted at some point, and so that's what that's going to be. I think I'll probably pick up some of those new Primaris models to make that force into something viable. So, all right, yeah. So let's start off looking at some of this old stuff. Well, it's not that old. It's new. I just painted it last month, but I haven't really shown it to anybody yet. So let's see if we can get the camera to focus at all. Oh, there we go. Oh, we had it for a second. We had it first bit. Interesting. Okay. So you kind of get the gist, even if it's a little bit imperfect of a focus. Not quite sure why that is. Maybe I've dropped this webcam a few too many times, but yeah. So I was really happy with how these guys turned out. You can kind of get a sense for the highlighting there. It was my first set of suits that I painted using my airbrush, and so basically what I did is I don't know. Yeah, so you can kind of get a sense for that here. I sprayed the back of the backpacks here, and then sprayed the tips of their arms as well to try to highlight the hands and then highlight the backpack. And I like how it turned out. I sprayed it with an orange, and there's really it's subtle enough that you can't really tell just necessarily by looking at the top, but if you look at the side and the back, you can really tell the difference about how dark this red is versus that orange. So it's a real subtle gradient, but I like how it turned out. And of course, it looks a lot better just as is compared to with the actual weapons on it, because the weapons were not painted in the same session, and were not painted in exactly the same style. So there's a little bit of a mismatch there, which I think is unfortunate. But I'm not going to paint a whole new set of weapons or repaint all my weapons just because my crisis suits kind of stepped up a notch. But yeah, I'm happy with how these all turned out. I think they look pretty good. And I'm going to, I think, one of the challenges I have right now is deciding on how I want to treat my fire warriors, because my fire warriors are kind of my oldest models that I still use in my army, and they look good. I mean, they're a good tabletop standard, but these are clearly to a higher quality than those are. And so in dealing with what I want to do with those fire warriors, I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to go ahead and, just buy new fire warriors and paint them from scratch, or if I'm going to try to spruce up the ones I have. I kind of lean that way just because I have a fair number of fire warriors. I don't really want to replace all of them just because of painting. But I think maybe there's a way I can get a similar effect with wet blending and kind of just touching up those models because of that. Or using wet blending as opposed to an airbrush, because I don't have the skill to airbrush onto those fire warriors without having to repaint them completely from scratch anyway. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do. I was happy with how the airbrush worked out on these drones. I just sprayed the aerial and then one side of the drone, and I think it gave it a nice effect. The challenge I had with that, though, with that and these suits in general, is that the areas where I painted orange, my edge highlighting also had to be much higher. And so getting the transition between the standard edge highlight to this brighter edge highlight to kind of match the gradient imposed by the airbrush was a little challenging. I feel like I did a fairly good job. There are some places where like the highlight's actually a little bit darker than the surrounding areas. I think I mean, at least that was the case when I started. But I think I've worked those all up to a point where that's no longer an issue, and I'm happy with how it turned out. It's just, you know, when I was kind of halfway through the process, it was like, oh no, oh no, this doesn't look good. So I had to see it through to the end in order to make it work. Yeah. Yeah, just don't strip my fire warriors. Yeah, I'm not gonna strip those fire warriors. That's too much. That's a good way to lose a lot of detail, unless you're really thorough. So what's my list? Well, so this set of models was painted for a narrative event that, you know, I brought a fluffy list. I didn't bring. I had a self-imposed rule of no riptides and no broadsides. So I brought a couple piranhas. I brought a big unit of crisis suits. I brought a hazard suit. But a bunch of fire warriors and breachers and a devilfish. Brought a sunshark bomber. It worked out okay. It was definitely a fun list to play. I felt like it was really dynamic, so I enjoyed that. Yeah, so I think one of the things that I need to paint for my more competitive army are these guys. I have one of them painted already. This is what I use for my fire site marksman. And yeah, I think maybe I'll try to. Yeah, I should probably try to do some OSL airbrush stuff with these guys. I think that would be cool. I kind of did a little bit with like dry brushing around the optics here, but maybe this is a good opportunity to try that technique out a little bit more intensely. So that's probably what I'll do. That seems like a fair goal for these guys, is try to get some different techniques in there. So that's probably what I'll do. So today that means what? I have to put brown and black down. I guess I probably. Yeah. How does OSL really work? So I need to basically need to paint everything and then put the OSL on, right? Otherwise the shading will go over things that need to be painted on top of anyway. So I guess that's that then, huh? All right, so just paint it normal and then do the OSL. Yes. So are those fire site bases a little big? No, they are not. So if you look at the actual bottom, this area is correct. The overhang from the kind of features is in excess of the base, but you don't really you count the actual base, not the terrain, not the I don't know what do you call it, basing. I guess I don't know. So if you just go based on the circle, it's the right size. It looks a little bit bigger because these are standard size infantry models, not these weird hulky things that come with the true kit. I'm just looking to see if I have my real ones handy so I can show you. It's I don't see it. It's in a box. It's in a box. So I won't get to that right now. But yeah. So yeah, it's a perfect match. As far as painting the suits red, yeah. I mean, I use these as VR loss suits, and I kind of make it work, I think, visually by having some of my HQ models adopt a much more white or gray color scheme. So like I have a couple fire blades and stuff that are painted with white armor and stuff like that. So the army's painted as Farsight, but I incorporate some white in the army here and there, and I think it works out well enough to kind of make the case for me that they're not necessarily Farsight enclaves. In this narrative event, I used kind of a personal fluff of them being more of a embedded cell inside of a Vior-La cadre. So they use the Vior-La septenet, but obviously are painted Farsight, and that's supposed to be because they're actually Farsight, even though they act like Vior-La. So obviously not they're not very covert if they're wearing the wrong uniform, but hey, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so let's get into what should we start with? Let's start with brown, I guess. We're gonna start basing our fatigues. I gotta shake this up a little bit. Boop, boop, boop. All right. Yeah. So I think I guess before I move on, I should say, again, thank you to our channel sponsor. I'm very excited and happy to have partnered with Tabletop Ready Miniatures. They're the sponsor for the channel and the sponsor for this video. So if you want to support the channel, one of the best ways you can do that, aside from the usual, is to visit tabletopreadyminiatures.com and show them your support. Thank you to Ben and the crew over there. So, yeah, but one of the things I'm looking forward to is the new Sisters of Battle box. I think it's going to, obviously we know it's going to be cool, and we know that the models are going to be exquisite. So I'm excited to get my hands on those. I don't know, it's probably a fool's errand to some extent. I'm probably setting myself up for another box of gray models that I'm not actually going to. Oh my gosh, what am I doing here? I was going to go right from the pot, guys. Oh, that's not how we do things. No. So I'm probably setting myself up for some gray model syndrome, but that's okay. I'm going to try to get as many boxes of that as I can. Just because, for one thing, like so you get like 10 sisters, you get 10 sisters, you get what, like, I don't know, 4 seraphim, you get 5 seraphim, you get 4 repentia, 1 mistress or whatever. What else do you get? You get a penitent engine, all sorts of good stuff. But it just seems like those models are really nice, but they give you like the minimum for all of those things, and so you probably would want to have something in addition to that. So that's probably what I would want to do, and get a couple of those boxes to flesh out some of those squads. I'm torn though, because like I said, I have these Vanguard Marines that I want to paint up, but I don't really want to just paint all of them. I want to paint the ones that I'm going to put in a list right away. That's kind of how I work. I generally don't paint things until they're in a list, unless I really need to paint that model for my own satisfaction. So 5 seraphim. Oh yeah, the 3 arco-flagellants. Those are cool. I kind of thought that they were a thing before, and that just kind of shows how uninformed I am about sisters. But I thought that they were in the army before, and then I was reading that they weren't, and probably the reason why I was thinking that was because of the old Inquisitor model that was the basis for them. So I was familiar with that, and so I was thinking, hey, those things exist, but I guess they don't. So cool to see those make an appearance. Now, what did I do? I left that. Okay. My priming isn't perfect on this, and so it kind of disrupts the sculpt. In case you're curious, these are the stealth suits from Wargaming exclusive. They're meant to be these guys, right? They're meant to be the old stealth suits. But I have plenty of the old stealth suits, so I decided I really like the model, so I decided I would use them for this. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think I've done a whole video about explaining why I think it makes sense, so we won't get into it. But all right. Tau need help. Yeah, I mean, Tau do need help. I mean, I think we could use a boost, but it's not necessarily as bad as you might think. Right? I mean, you can point to Richard Siegler. You can point to a couple other lists that have done very well. Are they extremely innovative in fulfilling lists? Not necessarily, right? I mean, you basically have to spam riptides and drones, and that's how you make the army work right now. So, I mean, there is a viable way to play Tau. There is a viable way to play Tau, but it gets it's not very fulfilling when there's only one way to play Tau. So, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that getting an updated codex here, or whatever we end up getting with the Psychic Awakening, hopefully it will breathe some life into some alternative play styles. I think here's the thing, right? Is that this thing has this big headpiece on it, but I'm not really sure where the fatigue, kind of like the cloth part ends and the metal parts begin, particularly on this chest plate here. I think it's probably mostly metal, so we're gonna go with that and just not try too hard, I guess. Yeah. Okay. I think, I'm going to call this cloth. I didn't call this cloth with the first one I painted. I think that was a mistake. I think the whole thing is way too black. So I'm going to call this cloth. Call that cloth there. Call this cloth here. The hands. Just something to break it up a little bit. Gotta do the same on the other side here. Boop, boop, boop. That's the sound that paint makes, obviously. You all know this. Yeah, so the new sister box coming out. I'm excited. I'm gonna get a couple of those hopefully. Yeah, and then of course, hey, if you guys haven't entered the 8,000 subscribers giveaway, you should definitely do that. In fact, I was originally planning on painting my super shield drone, but just didn't feel like it. So I actually need to reprime it because I have that cape on there now. So that's the difference. That's part of the reason why we're not painting that right now, because I need to reprime it. All right, so now, cool, got that, got this, boom. All right. Good evening, good morning, good night. Yeah. If we have any, let's see, what time is it in Tokyo right now? It's like 1 in the morning. So I have a very low viewership from Japan. So if you are in Japan, hopefully you're doing all right with the typhoon. Also, hey, I guess on the note of streams, if you guys, I linked it a while ago on the Facebook page. If you guys play the game Dead Cells, my buddy Gil, who does Blood Angels, he's starting to stream his Dead Cells runs. Apparently, he's like, I don't know much about the game, but looking at the statistics, he does some pretty rare feats. And so if you're into that game, you might enjoy watching his stream. Do I remember what it's called or anything like that? It's on Twitch. It's on Twitch. No. So it's not very helpful. I will. I'll find a link and put it in the description when when we're done here. How about that? That's reasonable. His Twitch name is Olaf Woodcarver. It's an old alias that he's used since we were a kid. Well, we weren't just one kid; we were 2 kids. Thankfully, right? Yeah. Oh, cool. So, hey, I do have a just the my luck of having someone actually in Japan in the stream. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're all right. That's fantastic. My brother took the bullet train out of Tokyo yesterday, or this morning, I guess, depending on your perspective. So. All right. Did shut down the Formula One races. Reading about that. Yep. Seems like everything's okay for him so far. So that's good. Yeah. I'm glad that we're not in a place where hurricanes are, or where I am. So, not to make light of it. In fact, to make it very serious. I don't want to deal with that. So, yeah, so with the Imperial Fist, this is kind of the thing, is I'm torn between where to put my hobby budget, and I don't know if I should maybe pick up a few more piranhas. I enjoyed playing with the ones I brought. Maybe I should flush out my piranha collection. Maybe I should just go ham on those sisters when they come out, or maybe I should, pick up some of those Invictor war suits and some more Primaris stuff to really make the Primaris I have useful in a list. And I don't know. The answer is probably none of the above. I probably should put it all in savings, right? I probably should do that instead. But barring the responsible choice, what should I do? I think, like I said, I'm going to try to pick up as many sisters as I can, just because I know that's going to be a scarce product for a while. But then I'll probably try to do something with the Primaris. Yes, so this is a wet palette. I've had this palette. I made this palette years ago. Has it always been wet? No. It's been neglected and dried out several times. But yeah, basically it's really simple. It gets kind of gross looking after a while. I probably should switch some of this stuff out, but it's some sponges, just normal sponges they use for cleaning dishes and stuff. A couple layers of Kleenex, and that's the original Kleenex. That's the gross part, I guess. Some original Kleenex, and then wax paper. Was it wax paper or parchment paper? I can never remember. One of them works great. It must be parchment paper, because I think wax paper, because it's waxy, doesn't allow the moisture through, and so you end up basically not actually doing anything. So it's parchment paper, and that allows enough moisture to kind of wick through to keep the paint moist. But yeah, Uncle Adam has a good video on how to make wet palettes. I think that's probably what I watched years ago when I made this. Need a little bit more brown. What am I using for the bottom? Oh, okay. I think I explained that. Old range is still metal only. Yeah, that old range is still metal only. I think it just. I love the I guess we can still say current sisters models. I think I think they still look good. But do I want to deal with metal chipping and falling over and stuff? Not really. So yeah, I probably anything that I pick up, will be in plastic. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be. Yeah, I mean, it has to take a while, right? It's not like they're gonna release this Sisters Army box and then a month later release a ton of different units. This is gonna be a slow process, just like they've said from the beginning, I suppose. Poured myself some coffee before we started, and didn't drink it. That was a mistake. All right. Okay, so there's some spots in here that I need to spruce up the black. Actually, I'm really excited to paint this guy. I'm not playing with Dark Strider right now, so I don't need to paint him. Hence, kind of what I said earlier, right? I wait to paint something until it's in a list. But yeah, this guy is my alternative sculpt, Dark Strider. I don't have a big problem with the GW one, but this one is just so much more dynamic. It's I couldn't resist. I had to pick it up. So that's my my Dark Strider, even though it's not the official GW one. Because, on that note, I'm really happy with the stuff GW's been doing. Just, in terms of their approach to community, I guess anyone that's been in this hobby for a reasonable amount of time knows what things used to be like in terms of product schedule and also in community involvement. And, it's night and day. It's Abaddon Black and Ceramite White. So, I don't think anybody from Games Workshop pays any attention to what I do. But if they do, just know that I really appreciate what you guys are doing. And, please keep up the good work. Just fantastic company. I'm glad that my stock is doing better too, right? Like, Games Workshop is a company. They're out to make a profit. But I think it shows that, customers respond to this type of engagement. It's a good thing to do for your customers, and if it's a good thing to do for your customers, they will reward you with their patronage. So yeah, happy that the company is doing well. Happy that Games Workshop is doing the fantastic work that they are doing. All right. You don't think they're taking Horus Heresy very seriously? I don't, so I don't really follow Horus Heresy, so I don't really have an opinion on that. But what's got you down about Horus Heresy? Why you got the feel bads about that? Did you get? Yeah, we did a video a while ago talking about Gil's Sanguinius model. Again, we don't play Horus Heresy, but it's such a cool model. Oh my goodness. I'm very happy that he decided to pick that up. Okay. I think I got most of like the big lighter areas. Boop, boop, boop. Oh yeah, it's just taking a while. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely taking a while. I mean, I don't think that's. I mean, yeah, that's not fun when you have to wait for it. But at the same time, like I kind of think, Horus Heresy isn't meant to be like this continually expanding thing. So there's kind of a set number of things that they can do. So it makes sense that they're not just going to blow it in a single year or something like that too. But they might stretch that out and take their time on it. What do I think about the Eisenhorn TV show upcoming? We'll see. So this is kind of it's an interesting thing because actually Extra Credits did a really good episode about this some point in the past. But I think Games Workshop has taken kind of a shotgun approach to licensing in the past, and I don't know if they've changed their standards for that. But they used to license things, particularly like video game stuff, to a very wide range of studios, and sometimes that would work out really well, like in the case of like the Dawn of War games, and sometimes that would not work out very well. Sometimes they would produce really poor quality products, and so that as a business strategy seemed to work well because they got enough out of the hits to make up for the losses. The winners were won enough that the losers didn't make that big of a difference, at least not enough to change the strategy. But now we've really entered this age of Games Workshop being kind of a premium, more of a premium brand. Not that it wasn't a premium brand before, right? I mean, it was always about quality, but I feel like there's a bit more prestige to the brand right now. And so I wonder if they're becoming a little bit more cautious about how they use their IP. And so if that's the case, then I expect good things from the Eisenhorn TV show. But if they're, using the same approach that they used 10 years ago, maybe not. It's hard to say. TV shows are subjective, and even if the show is good, it doesn't mean it's going to do well. That type of thing. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll definitely watch it. I'll give it a shot. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see anything Games Workshop puts out because I love what they do. So I'll watch it. I hope it's good. I don't know if it's going to be good. That's the long and short of it, I guess. The only people that know if it's going to be good are the guys making it, I guess. And hopefully they think it's good. I really like the show Schitt's Creek. I've only ever watched it on Netflix. I know it's on Pop TV or whatever, but they just upload new episodes to Netflix, and started watching that again, and just that conversation kind of reminds me of one of the characters' story arcs. So, have I played any of the new Apocalypse game? No, I haven't. I frankly haven't had time, and I haven't picked up the rules for it or anything yet. So it's just not something that's really in the cards for me. I don't think I have the time to do that sort of thing. For one, because it's a whole different system that I'd have to learn, and then two, just at that scale. And I kind of like the smaller scale stuff anyway. I enjoyed the games of Kill Team that I played because of that smaller scale too. So a 40K film? I don't think there's a film coming out. There's the TV show that they've talked about. I haven't heard anything about a film. I know there are fan films, like Inquisitor, I think is the name of it. That's very well done, but that's more of a short film. It's not like a feature presentation or anything like that. So yeah. Okay. So like iced coffee is good, but cold coffee is bad. There's a nonlinear relationship between goodness and temperature when it comes to coffee. All right, I'm looking for Dawnstone right now. Dawnstone, where did you go? No, I'm looking for Eshin Gray is what I'm looking for. Not yeah. Okay. Got you, Eshin Gray. You're here. Welcome to the party. So on the notes of alternative sculpts, several people recently, kind of out of nowhere, have been asking me about the elements of the Empire Kickstarter that Heresy Lab is doing, and they've been in touch with me recently, and it sounds like the gears are starting to turn a little bit more on that. So I know originally when I did a video on that, we talked about it being a shorter timeline, and it sounds like they had a bunch of Kickstarters going at once, and it just kind of was too many to allow for progress on this one. But the time is coming, is what I'm told. All right, I guess I'm going to put this Eshin Gray up here. It's a good spot for it. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. I actually should not be using this brush for this. This brush is too fine of a brush for this job. I'm wasting it on this coursework. I take really poor care of my brushes. I am not someone that does a good job maintaining their equipment. I'm very envious of people that have the skill set and patience to do that, though. Okay. Cool. What is everyone else working on? I probably will do a little bit of work here, and then we'll start wrapping up pretty soon. Again, I will thank our sponsor, Tabletop Ready Miniatures. And if you enjoy the channel, if you want to support us, one of the best things you can do aside from the standard types of things is to visit them for your all your hobby needs. So they actually, I don't know if you guys saw us, they did something pretty cool where their discount actually increases to 25% off, above the 25% off once you get above $100, which is super easy to do. 25% off retail, which it's a hard price to beat. So yeah, check that out. Use that. It's a darn good deal. So oh, Storm Raven is Storm Eagle conversion. Tell me more. I'm pretty sure I've seen those online before, but yeah. So the way I do my blacks here is I, of course, start with the black undercoat, and then I paint Eshin Gray over it, and then do a really heavy wash of Nuln Oil. And I mean, I guess it's kind of like, it's not dissimilar from the way that the contrast paints work, but because we're doing black, it's it starts with a darker base. So yeah, I kind of wonder what would happen if I did instead. Yeah, I wonder if I did the black contrast over Eshin Gray, how that would look instead of Nuln Oil. Probably more gray would be my guess, right? It probably looks more gray than anything at that point. But yeah, because the contrast paints are thinner or different than the washes. So Oh, wow, nice. That is a lot of Fire Warriors. So 36, wait, no, 72 Fire Warriors. That's nice. That's a good block. Yeah. That is how it totally bums me out that Breachers are 10-man max. Like, I just feel like that is a built-in inefficiency in the unit that is there just because they decided to make the kit 10-man instead of 12-man. Yeah, that bums me out because your Devilfish can carry 12, so why? So if you're bringing Breachers, you're bringing Devilfish, you automatically have 2 empty spots in your Devilfish. You could put Darkstrider in it. Could put a Cutter Fireblade in it. You could put Ethereal in it. So you have room for your HQs in there, but like I would rather have the option to just take a 10-man unit and then leave room in my Devilfish for HQ units if I wanted to, instead of being forced to do that. That's something that I really wish would change I guess I don't really wish it. It's not a huge deal, but it is unfortunate.
So I think next, next time a codex comes out, it's not like that's going to change, because they're going to stick with what the kit has. They're not going to change because the kit used to have 12. So forever alone, I guess. Oh, your first Riptide. Congratulations. I remember my first Riptide. So yeah, when the Riptides first came out, I was kind of hoping that they would be bad. Like, I was hoping Riptides would be bad, because I was like, I want to get it, but I don't want to get it. So I hope it's bad, so I don't feel like I should get it. And then it was good. I was like, shit. So then I got it. Got it from I actually got it from a retailer that I used to work, not work with, but I used to order from all the time, that went out of business. But I had heard of them through the 11th Company podcast. So that kind of gives you you should know when this was because of when Riptides came out, I guess, but gives you some context. I really liked that podcast, and then it just kind of fell apart, disappeared into the warp. Yeah. Yeah. But I got it, and I babied that model. I was like, I don't want to mess this up. This is such a big, cool model, and because at the time, it really was one of the larger models that Games Workshop produced. It was right at the beginning of the beginning. Let's call it that, the beginning. They started producing all these really big kits, like the Wraith Knight, and Imperial Knights, and Korkanauts and Morkanauts, and all that stuff. That all was produced, I think, after the Riptide was. So maybe Wraith Knights came before that. I don't remember. Maybe one of those came before the Riptide, but yeah. So the Riptide came out, and it really felt like something special. So I tried to do everything right. Finish putting our gray on this guy, and then I'm probably going to head out. Let's see here. What am I trying to do? Let me get my gray on these bracers, I guess. I feel like my lighting is just not good enough right now for this. Model's too dark. Paint's too dark. The room is too dark. I need to get one of those. Painting lights. What do you guys use? Does anybody have any recommendations for a painting light? I need to figure out why this webcam won't focus. Is it just like way too close? Is that the deal? I don't know. That kind of makes me feel, I don't know, like this is, yeah. Okay. All right. I think I might gray down. We'll call that game. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Thanks everybody for watching. As always, if you have questions or comments after, if you're watching this after a live stream or whatever, put them in the comments below, and I will do my best to respond to them. And yeah, thanks for watching, and happy wargaming.